We are back. No pause, one after each other. Uh, People, I have to take the advantage that I have all these awesome persons here. And on top of that, I think you're going to be closing this set of streams and interviews and all sorts of fun that we have been having.
Nice.
Because this was a special makeup for a mistake that we had the last time,
Oh my God.
because I managed to get an opportunity. The great one and only Andrew Knight, the animation panda. Hello, amigo. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, amigo?
About a break, but super happy. So much fun here in the conference Star
Mhm.
East 2023. And yeah, we had an accident last time, and we were talking, speaking. I mean, me and the stream situation. Not you. You were perfectly fine. You're always awesome, amigo. And we forgot to unmute the microphone. So, but we have audio. We have audio. Woo! Sound check. Okay,
Can you
we're
hear me
cool.
now?
So, amigo, I'm super happy to see you again.
Always.
I'm happy that it seems like we're seeing each other every time more and more.
Yes.
You're all over the place. I keep being amazed by that. And I think this is one more stop in the tour that you have been having.
Yes.
Curious, before here, what were you doing? I know that in the last few weeks you were also very busy.
So I have been on a 3-week marathon. So I was first in Salt Lake City. Every year, PyCon chooses like a different city to go to. The last year and this year was in Salt Lake. So I was on a weekend. The week before, I was visiting customers of Apple Tools in the area. So just boom, 1 week. Then the following week, I was in Seattle. I have a place out there. I love it. Also visit some customers and enjoy. My wife came out as well, which was really nice. And now this week, 3rd week of the journey, I'm here in Orlando for Star East.
Wow.
Thankfully, on Saturday, I go home.
When you said like a marathon, I wouldn't have chosen a better word to describe what you do. This guy is into marathons so often, one after each other. Is Mr. Ironman doing one? Yeah, I can't believe how you manage, amigo. Totally admire.
Thank
But
you.
in this one, it's not only that you do a talk here, talk there, and here you also did a mini sprint marathon just right here. You did a lot.
Yes.
What were you
Yes.
doing?
So Monday, I gave a full day tutorial, BDD with
Full
Champions.
day.
Thankfully, with Sarah Watkins as my co-instructor. So if I've given full day workshops before, it's brutal. And I'm sure you have before, it's just, oh, but when you have that co-instructor, so you can bounce off each other and help each other, it's much more enjoyable and much less exhausting. Day 2, I gave a half-day tutorial on visual testing with Cypress in the morning. Then yesterday, what did I do yesterday? I was part of one of the panels
panel?
on test automation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gave a lightning keynote about Volkswagens. I feel like I did something else, but I can't remember what it was.
I'm almost sure I remember there was something else.
Yeah.
I saw your name several times. Oh, you were here in the Tesla test bar?
the Genius Bar.
The Genius Bar.
Oh, so yeah, I thought I was supposed to do Genius Bar on Wednesday. And somebody showed up and talked to me. But then I found out afterwards it was actually scheduled for today. So I did Genius Bar twice.
We were doing the tour earlier, and we were going over the people that were available, and I saw your name and that you put a note on top like,
yeah,
because it was
there was when I got the email signing up for it, I thought the email said Wednesday because the way it was formatted, but then I showed up Wednesday late and freaked out, and I looked at the paper afterwards and realized it was Thursday, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Yep.
That was such a serendipitous
Yep,
situation.
it all worked out. My people came. It was okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And so I'm curious on some of the key content and things that you can share about your tutorials. What are the key things that you and Sarah focus on teaching your alumni so that they... But I mean, I'm trying to sell it so that you get more and more every time.
Thank you.
Probably it's going to be a 2-day now, and you'll need more people for instructors, but spoil it a little bit.
Sure. So BDD, for those who don't know, is behavior-driven development. It is I define it as a set of pragmatic practices that help you make better software. My whole thesis is that it's the behaviors we build in our products that bring people value, right? We don't like people don't care what code your product is written in. They don't necessarily care if it's web, mobile, whatever. What they're trying to do is they're trying to use the thing that you're building to make their lives better somehow. Like they're trying to check on their bank account. They're trying to order bubble tea online. They're trying to, stream live content. And so it's those features or what I call behaviors in the software that bring value to us as humans. And so if we put the focus of our development efforts on those behaviors, then everything else falls into place in terms of priorities and what's important and what matters, what we should be testing, what we should be focusing our efforts on. And so in our workshop, what we try to do is we try to introduce this idea of what it means to have a behavior driven mindset. And then we introduce two specific practices, example mapping and specification by example with Gherkin, in order to help people better explore, understand, and frame the desired behaviors they want to build.
Whoa, that was such a blast. So yeah. It's I got a little like that the wheel's still spinning here, loading. But yeah, because I've never heard business driven development explained like that.
Mm.
Makes sense. I think now I finally understand it.
Yeah, because like so many people think, oh, BDD, that's just that like given when then stuff. That's not valuable. That just gets in the way. It's an extra layer I don't need. And I'm like,
If
okay.
you only knew.
Okay, well, it looks like you went straight for a tool rather than understanding a viewpoint. Okay.
Because it resonated big time. Most of the time, the solutions and applications that we use, I never know what they were developed on or
Mhm.
what framework they use, if it's React or, I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like, oh, that looks like React or it looks like, I joke with Matrix code, like, oh, girl in red dress. I
Oh my gosh.
distinguish that. But it's important that we focus on what is going to be the end function, the end feature. I don't know how to say without using other buzzwords, but
Yeah, no, I
it's
understand.
it's
Behavior.
what we are gonna be solving or
Mhm.
easing, finding boba
Mhm.
for IC. Um, Boy, you remind them now. I want some.
Yeah, the reason I bring up that specific example in the workshop that we did, the example mapping and the Gherkin writing, we the application we were testing was a mobile app for ordering bubble tea. That was
Oh.
the example, the thing we did. And so we had people map out like how do you place an order, how do you navigate the menu, how do you earn your reward points, that kind of stuff.
Is it a real application
Oh no,
or demo from Andy's Obsession?
totally fictitious.
Okay.
Because the workshop does not include the automation piece, so we don't need an actual app to test. It's more the practices in the process.
Yeah, you need a mock or something.
Exactly. So we drew a picture on the board. This is your app.
It's no, and mobile. That's another element that it catches my attention because so many times I have been asked like mobile testing. That's another big topic. What made you decide to do mobile instead of the traditional web browser that almost everybody else focuses on?
Well, I mean, mobile is, how can I say, it seems like there are more mobile apps these days than web apps. Like, I mean, Uber doesn't have a web app; it's only mobile. My Navan, my trip booking app for when I travel, that one doesn't have a web app; it's all mobile. It's because so many people are now so entrenched in their devices that most companies are just going mobile only, not even mobile first, but mobile only.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is now more than ever, and I believe will continue to be important to think about applications beyond our classic desktop and monitor situation, right? I mean, mobile apps on devices and tablets are one perfect example of like it's software and applications are everywhere, right? And so we can start to think about them. Or like think about your watches, smartwatches, that software running that. There are applications on your watch. I don't have one. I don't like wearing watches, but I know tons of people do now. It's like, what do you mean you don't have a smartwatch? Right?
I would wear 3 if I could, but
It has
that's another topic.
Yep, and there's UI in there as well, right?
Mhm.
That needs testing. How many people are actually testing the UIs on smartwatches? I don't know, but I'm sure it's out there. Like it's software is so pervasive in everything we do. The Internet of Things, like even my refrigerators now. Like these are all things. So when I try to talk about software testing these days, and when I try to provide examples in workshops and articles in the book I'm writing, like I want to do more than just talk about a different kind of web app. I want to get people framed in thinking, yes, there's a bigger, broader world, right? The hardware is cheap and pervasive these days. Software goes on top. Guess what? Welcome to the 21st century. Here we go.
It's and to put an analogy, and I'm still also like blowing and blowing and blowing, because business driven development, what is needed, what is the solution that you're wanting to achieve or fulfill or help your customer user, whoever is going to be at the end of the story or the platform. Mobile is what we have the most right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's business driven platform to say
Mm-hmm.
is mobile nowadays.
Yes.
I'm going to debunk. I recently discovered, I don't know Uber, but Uber Eats, you have web
Oh, you do? Okay.
platform, but you hadn't before. I
Okay.
definitely wanted to. Silly story. Me and my fiance, we share an Uber Eats account because we have the premium.
Yeah.
When she has her phone, I was at home like I would like to order something and I couldn't. Now I can. But
Nice.
that's because of another end user need that
Mhm.
you need to create something to
Mhm.
accommodate for that. Uh, but you're right. Mobile right now, absolutely. I think regular desktop and web applications, we already had like some decades with them.
Mhm.
Uh, we're close to get to 1.5 decade of mobile
Mhm.
applications.
Hard to
I'm
believe.
sure that we have already more than whatever history was before and the other types. And I think I saw a statistic every day. We have some thousands of mobile applications coming up every freaking day.
Wow.
It's
I believe it.
yeah, poor of the people that have to filter in the mobile stores
Oh my
of the apps,
gosh.
mobile app stores.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's really interesting that these distinctions and being able, you mentioned also like observe and see how it is, because I know that that's a big part or focus of your tutorials and what you are
Mm.
explaining, right?
Mhm.
How is this also more important or relevant, or why did you decide it as a focus, pun intended,
Sorry, focus on what? Sorry.
on
On
visualizing or checking visually?
Oh, checking visually. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, I was building that. The pun and example didn't go well.
No,
My
no,
fault.
no. It's sorry. It's late in the day for everybody.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. No. I mean, when it comes to UI based things, it's not just UI user interface, but it's also user experience. And
yeah.
visuals are just inherently part of your visual or part of your user experience, right? Like when we look at apps with our eyes and we're like, oh, this is the thing I want. We take our finger and go boop, you know, and um,
That
people,
visualization.
yeah, like people don't tolerate poor visuals anymore. People
Hmm.
don't tolerate poor experience. If an app sucks, for lack of a better word, delete, done. You're done. It's worse than if they never tried because now they have a bad impression of what you were trying to do. You
And
know?
most probably you'll never go back.
Yeah, it's brutal. Why?
You,
Because do something else.
yeah.
You know, and when visuals are bad, it can even cause functional issues. Because like it might be that you have a text field covering up a button you need to click, or I mean, if visuals are like really really bad, I'm pretty sure they could even cause some performance issues. Like if there's a rendering loop or something that just keeps going and burning up your battery, like oops, I ate up all my system resource because I didn't know how to do my rendering right or something. Maybe there's something that might be a stretch,
No,
but
no, no. Actually, you did a very good point. Visuals have at times some counter effect and performance.
mm-hmm.
Organizations that put 4K pictures in their landing page,
Oh
that has to do with visuals, kind of trying
yeah,
to overdo it, but
mm-hmm.
has an impact on performance. You
Mm-hmm.
just made me think like, deep. Whoa, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, quality is
Totally.
multifaceted.
No, no, and it's like this holistic thing that everything interlaces
Mm-hmm.
with everything around in QA, where you're right. Visuals are super important in many fields.
Mm.
You made me think of another example. One organization that hid behind an image an input text to access some backend or
Oh.
administrative something. visually you're like, yeah, it's not so visible. You're like swiping under the rock.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but all sorts of problems, security you can have.
Mm-hmm.
We had Boris earlier, Grubel. I'm trying to pronounce his last name. It's complicated. I don't know if you met him talking about accessibility as
Mm.
well, which often goes so paired up with visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Where, and I think this align a lot. And I want to recover a little bit of what we lost from our last conversation,
Oh,
muted conversation. Because if I remember well, you gave the keynote right in Star West, or was it just a talk?
I gave the keynote at Star
Star
East. I
East a
gave a
year ago,
talk at Star West last year. Yeah.
and I remember where they were about the waves, the Japanese
Oh
and the
yes, that was the Star
visuals.
East keynote. Yes. Oh
Uh,
man, that was the best talk I ever gave.
can you remind us? Because I think there were also awesome topics that we need to
Sure.
share.
Sure. So the keynote that Leander's referring to is titled "Making Great Waves: 8 Software Testing Convictions," and I've given this talk more times.
I know
So if you just Google that,
it's
probably
online.
yeah, I have a full recording of it
Cool.
from when I did Apple Tools. I I did like full videography in my office with the different prints and stuff. So just Google that, check it out, you'll find it.
Sweet.
But the point of the talk is that um, or what am I trying to say? I walk through my convictions on software testing because I believe that testing is an art as much as it is engineering.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talk about things like focus on behavior. I talk about things like automate your tests, show empathy. And I parallel that with Japanese woodblock prints, like the Great Wave off Kanagawa or the Red Fuji. Things that, when we're talking, it probably doesn't make any sense. But if you just Google the Great Wave off Kanagawa, you will find it be like, oh, I recognize that. Everybody recognizes it, right? Those prints were done in the roughly 1800s Japan. Some like it started in the 1600s, but went through the mid 1800s. And they remain popular today because people love them. They're bright, they're vibrant, they're beautiful. And the artists who made these put such careful quality into their work. And I love these prints. I traveled the world to see them. I have them all over my office. If you ever see me on a live stream in my office, you will see it behind me. And so I take great inspiration from artists like that in my approach to my work,
Mm-hmm.
specifically software development work. And so that's why I'm passionate about testing. I think we can learn a lot from these masters in what we do and how we approach our craft. And so that whole talk just walks through all of that. It's got some beautiful pieces of art. So check it out for sure.
Some side fact or information around that, because I remember, and when I few keynotes I have been able to be in
Hmm.
over these days, and I remember you mentioning that I had the misconception before you explaining that the Great Wave was just like a single painting, like the Mona
Oh
Lisa,
yeah.
and only one time was painted,
Hmm.
but this is printed,
It's a
right?
print. There are multiples.
And some of those differences that I was like, you tend to do the blow to everyone.
Mm.
I love it because I was like, oh, and after the printer gets a little bit gets worn off, and
Hmm.
you can see the borders, or there's a
Yeah.
signature here, or they
Hmm.
press it, and just starting is like, cool. That's a fact that I didn't know, and I love to
Hmm.
have learned. And second, visually is how you can tell those differences. I remember that you were giving that example, like
Oh yeah.
this one looks a little bit like that, this one,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. And on top of that, do that with software and automations.
Hmm.
That's also what, like, whoa, everything connects, man, bro. It
That's the
was
beauty
like,
of that talk.
yeah. And I loved it. That's probably why I remember, and most probably
Oh, thank
why am
you.
I confusing it with your, in Star West it was a talk,
Yes.
API talk.
Was it?
No, no, BDD.
I gave a BDD.
BDD. It
I
was
gave a
BDD.
workshop and a talk on BDD at Star West.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was a
And
live session for both of them.
is that something that everyone can find around?
I don't know if it was recorded or not. I don't recall if Star West's recording.
But it's not like the wave that you have
No,
another,
no, that
like
one.
it's
I mean,
common.
if people want to see that, I've automationpanda.com/BDD. You can at least read about it. I have tons of articles all about it.
Because you have here an eminence, someone that really, really knows. Dude, you were. I was teasing earlier in the test bar
Mm-hmm.
that what topic? I wonder what topic is Andy wanting to ask me anything. Yeah, that's Andy. I'm amazed.
Oh, thank you.
So now ramping down a little bit, to take too much time and to make sure that also we are ready for. Again, we're gonna have a last stream, live stream. Those that I run around with the camera.
Nice.
Yeah, it's you have seen me
Dude,
running,
everybody's
right?
seeing you. You are a champion at the
Uh,
live stream at these events. It amazes me as well as everyone else how well you do this.
Oh, thank you.
Kudos.
I,
Like
I don't know how it got that way, but
you
oh,
leaned
thank
into
you.
excellence. That's how it happened.
Sometimes too hard. I mean, it's called like you're trying too hard, like, but it's cool.
It is really cool. I mean,
Yeah, some like some didn't believe me how many steps I put on these
Oh my gosh.
events with all that I'm running around with the camera, but
mhm.
we're almost there. So before we end up, what is next for you? Where people should be prepared for
Oh,
the
gosh.
Automation Panda?
Sure. So the Penny Night Spring Summer Tour continues.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, I'll be in Baltimore. I'll be speaking at DevOps Days Baltimore. At the end of the month, we will both, I hope, be going to QA or the Highway in Columbus, Ohio.
Will be.
Yes. In June, I will be at Kansas City Developer Conference in Kansas City, Missouri. And in July, to wrap up the tour, I believe I'm taking a trip down to Atlanta for speaking at the Modern Web meetup down there.
This is a busy man. Super, super busy.
And this isn't even counting virtual. This is just in person.
No, yeah, virtual adds up. Yeah, if you were silly side question, if you were to count in person, how many per year?
Jeez. I don't know how many in person.
Rough estimate?
I mean, probably like, well, at least once a month, I would say. Average.
Okay, we have
somewhere.
12. right?
Yeah.
Virtual?
I can tell you, combined virtual in person, last year I did 65 speaking engagements. And this year I'm on track to do about as many. So more than once a week.
Wow, you're a machine, man.
Yeah, like that's what I said. I don't know the split between in-person virtual, but I can tell you the full numbers. And that includes everything from a tutorial, a talk, interview, customer, public, whatever.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. No, you're the master. So people, if you want to be reached out to follow up with you on your incredible tours, where should people find you?
Sure. So if you just Google Automation Panda,
The one and
you will
only,
find
yeah.
me. I'm on Twitter. My handle is Automation Panda. My blog is automationpanda.com. I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me there. I give a lot of webinars with my company, Applitools. I am principal developer advocate at Applitools, as well as director of Test Automation University. So you can find events there. If you haven't heard of Test Automation University, check it out. Free
Definitely.
courses from the world's best instructors. I'm expecting one from you soon, I hope.
Soon? Haven't I already?
Oh, you
More.
did the workshop. I want
Yeah.
a course from you.
Oh, sure thing.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
I thought we talked about this. Maybe not. Anyway,
I may be mixing things.
it's okay. So we're always coming out with new courses, but check it out. You can find my stuff there as well. But yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
And well, everyone, I promise. Now, this is the last interview we've gotten. We're about to be kicked out from here. And stay tuned. In a few minutes, the last walk into the end of Star East 2023 has been a long trip. We're almost there. Stay tuned. See you around. Thank you, Andy.